Andy, I don't know if you're going to hear this. I wish there was a way I knew how to. I just finished doing a teaching at my daughter's ranch. But I took her, I bought lunch for her and Lulu, but we just went. I was going to take them to the restaurant, but on the way into Mathis or Orange Grove, there's a truck on the side of the road going very slow, and then there's traffic, and there's like a big truck coming the other way, and a dog ran right out, and I saw it very graphically, and that dog, it stuck in my head. Completely killed. I mean, exploded, that dog. And I thought my daughter would take it worse, but I think she realized, like, for some reason, I was affected by that. So I went into Stripes into Orange Grove and bought them lunch. But it sticks with me to see that. And then on the way back, we passed it up, and there was nothing left of that dog. But the truck, it wasn't the truck's fault. The dog ran out, and I thought, who do you blame? You know, my kids, they have so many dogs that they're rescuing. They were going to try and rescue another one on the way back because she sees another one when she goes in there. They do a lot of that. And I've had instances where people in law enforcement harass them because they have the ability. As a matter of fact, it was this road here. I look at the Texas Tech shooting of that officer. Unjustified, of course. Can you imagine if we had video of that shooting? And then authorities who had control of the video covered it, maybe for a year or 2 years. And then talk radio went on for months and months, mocking the people that were killed. And I heard that in many of these cases where black people were killed. Months and months and months of various cases when I listened to all news outlets, mocking some of the people who were killed. And then after maybe a year or 2 years or 3 years, after every official report said no, the person was approaching the officer and threatened the officer, and every official report, why are you bringing that up, John? Because even the death of that dog affected me. The death of that innocent officer is going to affect his family. And any death that takes place where a group or a department covers up, and then it makes it into the news cycle and they make fun of the victim, and then finally, lo and behold, whether it's the St. Louis or the one out of Chicago, and after all those years of mocking and saying, we looked at it, we investigated it, what that does is disgrace to the person who died. That's what that does. That's what that does. And we've seen so much of that this last few years. And now it's made it to the NFL debates and all. I don't even watch football. And to know that a lot of those were done, and for justice to be served, just like in this case here in Texas, the way it's served is you don't manipulate evidence. You don't fuck with the families of people that were victimized. You don't do all that shit. And then when it comes out later, the victims of police shootings as well, when it comes out later that shit, they did lie. They lied. That kid was killed. They lied about various aspects. And then later they still might get exonerated. You do, and that's a human life. And people in this country, they laugh about that. So we're going to cover this continually. I could blame that dog running out on the backwater of this part of the country. The stupidity, the level of ignorance. I could blame it on that. Because that certainly plays a role. When you have people heading up, whether it's a department or anything else, and they're so incapable of doing a job, you say, why? Why do you put up with having people in your communities in these positions that are obviously unable to handle these positions? And so I could blame it on the backwater. That affected me, to see that dog obliterated completely. It affects me that my kids do all they can in that particular area of helping animals. And I was going to make a video on it when my daughter went into Stripes. I was going to pick up lunch for me too, and I couldn't do that. So, but then there's a sheriff's vehicle going by when I was going to stop at the Stripes. And I said, I better not. Because sometimes they just driving around this area. This is where they entered into her house. Right there. And they went in. I talked to the sheriff and the captain at the Alice about it. Yeah, you probably did it. You shouldn't be doing it, but and then they fucked with my daughter for I remember she's the one that said, "Oh, that cop keeps driving by." I was there one day when she said it, and that set me off. The dog.